like I have plenty of time before these things start. And then I turn around and it's 7. Wobble, wobble, wobble. Hey, you want to see something cool? Something that y'all did for us? I just hit a few magic buttons. And look at that. We now have lighting. If I get real close, you can see it in my eye. Oh my goodness, my friends. Hello. And welcome to our Flannel Farms Family Forum this evening. 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since we were able to talk last in this format. I'm assuming y'all can hear me. Nobody's going, hey, what in the world? Hey, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You're so blind. Hi, RGB. How are you? Clarissa, it's good to see you. Oh my gosh. It has been quite the past couple weeks trying to get my chat to open up correctly and load messages. Audio is good. Link Wayne, I am glad you're here, my friend. I wanted to give a special shout out to Link Wayne. Link, if you want to, feel free to post your website for your music. Thorn Creek says it's about time. Glad you're back. Yeah, Link Wayne sent me his CD. And if you're into some slide guitar, man, let me tell you. I had to move my little tea cozy up over here. But yes, Link sent us his CD, and I've listened to it. I've enjoyed it very much. So thank you, my friend. This evening we are having a double shot of Echinacea tea. So I put 2 in here. It's an immunity booster, apparently, that my sister sent. And a little honey. Gotta have a little honey. So, unbelievably, here we are. Faith, you're not too late. We just got here. Bora Joe, good to see you too, my friend. Agape Field, hello from Southeast Texas, they say. You look like you're feeling better. Mark and Christy Nichols, it's good to see you. We both missed getting to Hannibal last minute, but see you on the recovery. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, actually, this weekend is the homesteading. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Bobert. This evening, or tomorrow, I guess, starting, is the Hannibal, Missouri Homesteaders Conference of America. And Doug and Stacy were kind enough to let me be flexible when I didn't know if surgery was coming or not. They were very gracious. I didn't know, as you guys know, up until like 12 days before surgery, if I was going to be able to go to the conference. And of course, as it turned out, I cannot. I'm still not able to drive, so it would have been a bit taxing. I'm still working on getting my energy back, and that's okay. But look at this. You ready for this? How many people do you know 12 days after open heart surgery can hold their hands above their head? See, look, I didn't edit it in. There's the Zimbabwe zipper. It's still there. Your Faith says, put those arms down. I'm allowed to. They're less than 20 pounds. They've shrunk. I'm so little now. I have a lot of work to do. In the gym, but not yet. Carolyn, hello, my friend. We have time. I know it seems contrary to my nature. Hello, Michelle. I'm so glad you're here. But I am really taking it easy. I really, really am. When I'm tired, I sleep. When I feel worn out, I sit down. I'm really not pushing it. The last thing I want is to end up back in the hospital for any reason whatsoever, or to delay my recovery for any reason whatsoever. So I don't want to be the cause of any more of my own demise as much as I can help it. So we're being very careful. The last time I fed the pigs was in the video, and then I fed them again this morning. So But otherwise, I'm really taking it easy. We did get to band Junior today, the bull. We had our friends come over. Two of our friends came over to help us out, and we were able to give him his last tetanus shot and get his little testes banded, which was one of our huge concerns, post surgery. And so, thank you to my friends. You know who you are, who came over and helped. I didn't chase him. I just mowed where we were gonna do it. Some friends of ours have lent us their zero turn mower. And if you guys have ever operated a zero turn, it's not very stressful. So instead of leaning way back in the chair and steering like this, I sat way up front and had my fingers basically like this and just kind of went doo 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 doo. So we were able to mow out their little pen. And yes, Diana says your job is to recover. That's right. So I mowed it out this morning. I fed the pigs this morning. Felt pretty good. Then our friends came over. They helped us get all that. Get him banded and his last tetanus shot done. So he's all set. And it is Melissa says, listen to him trying to cover. I'm not trying to cover. It took about an hour. We showed our friends the pigs, and then I came back in and sat down, had some lunch, took a nap, and then the family, we went actually putt golfing this afternoon, believe it or not. There's a little place down the road from us called Bethpage. It's a huge campground here in Urbana. I mean, huge. And they have a little 18-hole putt golf, and they have a little ice cream parlor. So we had, look at that. Look, you see what I can do with this mug? This just, I'm telling you. If I didn't know any better, I wouldn't have known that it happened to me. I still have a little bit of rub on the inside that I can feel when I lay down on certain angles. So I'm still working on trying to sleep all the way through the night. That isn't happening yet. But typically I'm sleeping in blocks. I'm sleeping in blocks from about 10 to 2. And then I'll typically be up for a little bit. And then from like 3 or 4 to, well, it depends. The other night I was up this morning at 5. It's just my body's kind of done. There's a bit of discomfort. I wouldn't even call it pain. And as you guys know, as we get older and we try and sleep, just a little bit of discomfort is enough to, keep us awake. So, but I'm still sleeping a good 5 to 6 hours every night, which is further than I thought I'd be. I thought, honestly, I'd still be in a recliner. I thought I would be practically immobilized. I thought, I'm not sure what I thought. I think I had prepared for the worst. I probably should have named this talk PTSD. I get it now. Because I'll tell you, when I woke up in the hospital, let's back up. We're coming up on, tomorrow will be 13 days from surgery. Monday the 24th was surgery. And this time, I don't remember going into the operating suite. Last time I remember the operating suite. This time, I don't remember the operating suite. I just remember being in the prep room, and then I remember waking up. Waking up this time was brutal. I regained consciousness, I think, faster than they expected. So I couldn't see because I think my eyelids were still taped. I don't know that, though. I was on a lot of medication, and I was intubated still, and I knew I was intubated and having a very difficult time with my respirations. Although, apparently, I was calling for Mrs. Flannel while waking up, so I didn't get in trouble there. Earned a couple brownie points. And if you guys remember last time, I ended up my alveoli and my lungs ended up closing, and I got, hypoxic and almost suffocated pretty bad last time. Not this time. That was last time. And I learned something this time, besides the fact that I was going to use my inspirometer a lot. I learned that what I didn't realize was pain. And that sounds like a weird thing to say, but if you've never had chest tubes, you know what I'm talking about. Chest tubes are inside your body, and when you're breathing, you just hit a point where you feel like you can't breathe anymore, and it doesn't feel like pain. It just feels like you hit, just that's it. You like a wall, I guess would be a better. So if it just feels like you hit a wall, that's it. I can't breathe anymore. What I realized, hi, Monkey Mama says, good evening, everyone. Good to see you, Brian. Good to see you as well. So glad you're here. What I didn't realize at the time was that wall that I was hitting was pain, because it didn't feel like pain. I don't know how to describe it. I was on nerve blocks, Dilaudid, all kinds of stuff. So it wasn't, well, right. Greene County says your diaphragm couldn't move more, but it could. And that's what I learned, because they asked what my pain was. And I said, I don't know. It's like a 9 because I can't take a deep breath. And so they kept pumping me full of drugs, and they kept pumping me full of drugs, and they put me on ketamine. And if you haven't had ketamine, I don't recommend it. It didn't make me hallucinate. Apparently it makes a lot of people hallucinate. But for those of you that have imbibed in too much alcohol, that feeling where like you're just about to throw up, but not, that's what I felt like. I mean, like I had words, but I couldn't say them. And they doped me really good. And what I realized when they doped me really good was I could take a deeper breath. That wall went from here to here, and it still wasn't a full breath, obviously, but and I actually slept like 90 minutes the first day, which is something I hadn't done the last time. I took these sweet noise canceling headphones and I put on some audiobooks, and I just zonked, man. And the PTSD part, Psalm 144 says, Brian, you have good color. You were paler before. I think Jesus that you're on the mend. Sorry, there's a thing in the way. Worked in healthcare for 23 years. ICU, PCU, and med-surg units. God bless you. I feel better. My anemia is going down. Wednesday, my hemoglobin was like 9, and I was running 9 to 11 before, but I was 6 post-surgery, and those numbers just mean that like 12 to 15 is normal. So, yeah, opioids. I mean, when I tell you I was doped, somebody came in the room. I don't know who it was. It wasn't Mrs. Flannel. It was one of the hospital individuals, and they're like, "Well, you're looking good." And I was like, "You look bad yourself." And I got a chuckle at everybody. And but what I was afraid of was, I was afraid that I would wake up suffocating like I did last time. Because last time I would get so tired trying to breathe that I would end up falling asleep. And then I fell asleep, and then I would wake up suffocating. And it was like this horrible back and forth for like 6 hours. And I'm really surprised I didn't buy a tube, an endotracheal tube for those of you. And actually at one point in this time, I told the nurse, I think the first day, I was like, could you just bag me, man? And that's, have you seen on TV or CPR where they do the bag over their face and they just force air? And I was like, can you just bag me? That would be great. Just bag me. And he was like, no. So I kept kind of having that, like, kind of halfway drugged anxiety. Yeah, Jeremy, you already saw it. Look, there's part of the Zimbabwe zipper. It's a little irritated because my skin didn't like the tape, so I've been like super itchy. That's actually been probably my biggest complaint, is the itchiness, man. I'm telling you, it's been nuts as they've been healing. But I was super worried, like every time I fell asleep, that I was going to wake up and not be able to breathe, because that's what happened last time. But your prayers and rendering every thought captive and thinking through a litany of hymns helped. And I remember a couple times waking up being like, and then realizing I could still breathe. So I was like, okay, slow down. You're okay. You're still breathing. Everything's fine. Okay. All right. Still breathing. Everything's okay. And it just kind of was like a mantra. And obviously it was incredibly boring in the hospital. And I just kept thinking, if I can just make it through today, make it through today, make it through today, make it through today. And we did. and it was actually a substantially better. Monkey Food Garden says, "Hey y'all, sorry I'm late. I just got home, looking really good." Why, thank you. It's my new fancy light. Here, let's wash my color out. Let's see. I think it's this one. Boop. Oh, now it's more yellow. Oh, white. Oh, bright white. Oh, yellow. Now I can adjust my own jaundice. Are you guys seeing that? Yeah, there you go. We'll put it back to where we were so we don't freak people out. This was the light thing that you guys sent. It's super fun. It's really nice. So I appreciate it. It's helped with our, I actually purchased, so it's got this little click button and all this stuff. And so what I did was I bought this battery pack to run, you can see the light reflecting off of it, to run the light so that we can still go out into the field and do those kind of things when I'm up for it and do the live streams like out with the sunsets and stuff. And I can still take the light and not have to have like the little spotlight doodads on me. Bliss says, "My goodness, I'm so sorry. I am so behind to know about your surgery. Not that I have forgotten you in the least." It's okay. It is okay. And Psalm says, "Comfrey salve might help the itch and healing process faster." That's a good idea. Yeah, Green Country Agro says, "Next thing you know, you'll be using shade screens, reflectors, and finished lenses and Steadicam." I'll leave the artsy stuff to my brother, David the Good. He is, he's all into those vintage lenses and frame rates and things. And I'm just kind of a straightforward, linear, bang it out kind of guy. So yeah, we spent one night in the ICU. We got stepped down the next day. I had my own room. And when I say I had my own room, this room was massive. And Mrs. Flannel was able to sleep on a pull-out couch they had in it, or pull-out love seat, I guess. So she was able to be with me the entire time. Grandma Flannel is here, and she's able to, she's been staying with us since about 2 days before surgery, and she'll be here until next week. I still can't drive until the end of September. No, end of August, I can drive. So, that's okay. I can't have an airbag to the chest, apparently. I know. I told them I'd wear like a little thing, and they didn't think that was funny. My doctor's follow-up was last Wednesday, and the labs were coming up. Everything was coming up. X-rays looked good. When the NP came in, I told her that people only wanted me there for my body, and that my eyes were up here, and a bunch of other stupid jokes. I don't think most of her heart patients come in saying crazy stuff like I do. So I do have a follow-up in September with my regular cardiologist. He's a cool dude. And then I have a 3-month follow-up with the surge office where we're going to do another echo and x-rays and blood work and stuff like that. But if the way I'm feeling and my color and those kind of things are any indication, I am seriously well on the mend. Yes, Jeremy, thank you for asking. That was very important. He asked if my nipples are straight, and they are. Not to be overly graphic on our family channel, but I did ask the surgeon to make sure I didn't have like a lazy one, I said, that won't work, doc. I can't walk around one pointing at the ceiling, and that got a chuckle out of him. I asked him for the Iron Man thing, and he said that was a definite maybe. So Psalm 144 says a T-test. I'm not sure what a T-test is. They did a CBC, basic panel, x-rays, EKG, but all that stuff was coming back very, very good. So day 3, they were able to pull the chest tubes, which I really wanted done like as quickly as possible, because if you've had those things, they just, every breath is a pain. And when they get them out, it's not like instantly better, but within like 5 to 10 minutes, you're like, I think I pulled about 700 more mLs on the inspirometer. So while I had tubes, I was pulling about 1,000 to 1,500, and then I was up near 2,200, 2,500. So that was 3rd day, and we were able to be all right. And then 4th day, they sent us home, and I was able to rest. I think I made the post about the oxys on that Tuesday, but TEE. Yeah. I've had two of those. I don't know if they're going to do another one depending on what the echo looks like. Sorry, I read T even though you wrote TEE. Yeah, Michelle says my husband has this regular interventionalist cardiologist and a surgical cardiologist. Yep. Love and blessings. Psalm 91 says, hi, glad you're feeling well. Praise the Lord. Take care. Pray everyone is blessed. Thank you so much. Yes, we are doing just phenomenally. So yeah, Psalm 144, the TEE or transesophageal echocardiogram, I had one previous to the first surgery, and then I had one previous to this second surgery. I don't think that's on the list of things to do, but it would depend on what the regular echo looks like at the 3-month mark. So I'm obviously not like exercising or doing anything like that right now. I wanted to say thank you to Faith and Alan for sending the books. I haven't gotten to them yet, but I plan on reading them. Alan has written 3 books, and he just got back from his Lutheran convention. I was watching his status updates on Facebook. And we're still just taking it easy. And I am starting to get to that point that we talked about before, where I'm starting to feel better, but I still can't do the things that I would like to do. So I do have some small plans for things here and there around the property as I feel able. Nothing, like I said in the video, jarring, nothing impactful. Bobart said, anything new on the Amazon list? Let me tell you guys something about that list. We were blown away. We've had an Amazon list for, I don't know, probably a year now. And I'd put a few things on it, and a couple things had disappeared. And I basically forgot about it. And then we put a few more things on there before the surgery. And somebody had said, I forget who it was, put household items, put anything you want on there that we can, so we can help. So we listed all kinds of things that were useful to us, but really didn't have anything to do with homesteading. Soft washcloths, some soft sleeping pants, massive towels, parts for the tractor, the socket set, because I didn't have the right, jack to get that thing up, jack stands. Somebody purchased the butchering book for me. This ring light, a Shark vacuum, because the vacuum cleaner broke like the day before we were supposed to leave. It burnt the belt up, and it's seriously like a brand new vacuum cleaner that we had just bought in the past month, and it burned up already. And it was just like, it's just one more thing. Q-tips, what else? Coconut water, gift cards. I mean, I got home from the hospital and walked in my back door, and the entire dining room was just covered in boxes. And the little ladies at the post office just thought it was the cutest thing. They were so, when my wife pulled up, they were like, we need to get a cart. And it was just overwhelming. Link, your CD, and the resources that Link sent, was able to take the family out to have a dinner. Last night, we were able to take Grandma Flannel to our favorite little Mexican restaurant here around the corner. And it was just a physical representation of God's love for us, and not that things necessarily are, proof of love, but the fact that you all went out of your way and found the stuff on the list and then sent it to us. It was just, the kids were like, grabbing knives and tearing open boxes. And I mean, some of the stuff I still can't even lift, like the jack stand, but my goodness, it was so humbling. And just, it's interesting because you put, I try and put a lot of time and effort into our little community here on Flannel Farms, and I do my best to, give you as genuine and real and as best material and content as I can. And I do my best to respond to comments, and I do my best to respond to emails, and I do my best to respond to, Facebook messages and everything. And we have for almost 2 years now. We've been really consistent in trying to do those things. And it was just it was a physical representation that's not just going out into the void, you know. Thank you. Make sure I almost said Michelle. McKelly Fig says, good to hear you're being supported in your recovery, through recovery. Blessings to the fam. And it was just I guess a physical confirmation. I know we have our chats and you guys are very supportive in your comments and obviously with your prayers. The only reason I fully believe that I can do this is because of the prayers of you guys and the assisting that those prayers gave to that surgeon. And he's a top-notch surgeon. He's got his face in magazines and all those wonderful things. But we know who our true physician is. And your guys' prayers have allowed, I believe, the healing to happen quicker than it would have otherwise. I've talked to several of you who have your own Zimbabwe zipper. And one of you had just recently said it took you almost a month to get your arms above your head. And I was like, I was sitting in the chair the other day in my recliner, like I'm supposed to, but I had my hands like this because it was comfortable. It's just, I couldn't believe it. I was out playing putt-putt with the kids. And it was just amazing. So I really wanted to make sure I spent some time this evening and said thank you to each and every one of you for your prayers, for your comments, for your support, for clearing that Amazon list like 3 times. Every time I put something on it, it disappeared. All the way down to 2 surge protectors that would make things useful for my daughter's equipment, and you guys purchased like everything. It was just amazing. So there's a few more things left on the list, but those are just things I put on there. It's nothing needed for recovery. There was a couple things I realized I didn't have to butcher beef, and so I threw them in. Somebody bought the beef butchering book for me. I've been plowing through that, trying to get ready to take care of our steers. I think somebody bought the cleaver too, which is super cool. I'm looking forward to that. It was one of the few knives I didn't have. I realized with reading the book that the I think it's old hickory set that I have is good for pigs, but there's like a better knife, I guess, for taking care of the skin on a cow. And because they're so much bigger, like the knives need to be longer and stuff. So we threw one of those on there. But yeah, I just deeply and personally want to say thank you to each and every one of you. It's just you guys have helped carry us through, and we still have a long way to go on the recovery, but I feel pretty comfortable saying in terms of complications and infections and those kind of things, we're pretty much out of the woods. We're just waiting for the rest of the anemia and red blood cells to come back, and then I'm really just waiting for my sternum to finish knitting together, and we'll be back in the saddle 100% here in probably 6 weeks. It's just astonishing. Karmic Circle said, how are the piglets? The 7 that are left are good. Oh, that's a mosquito. Get out of here. Don't bite me, jerk. You'll get a heart condition. The 7 that are left are good. One of them seems really small. And I'm not sure why, but he's running around in the pen. I don't know if he's the runt or the runt of what's left. So we threw a little milk replacer that we had when we got when we had the 2 runts that we tried to feed that it didn't work. And we're putting it away from where Mama Penny can get it. And we're trying to keep it on that little, if you've seen the video where I have the capture area, that little circle, and then we have the slidey part, we put it in there so Penny can't get to it and drink it all. And we're hoping that they'll maybe go in there. And we're not sure if they're smaller at this stage because of how many there were. So they just don't seem quite as big as they were. So Okie Ranch says that your color is so good and you seem to have more energy. God's blessings on you and the family. Yeah, it's I do. I feel better. I feel like my mental clarity is better. My memory's better. It's just better. It's better all around. I'm really looking forward to getting back into the gym proper. Like I've lost like 20 pounds. So I'm all like, gaunt and such. But otherwise, other than needing to put some muscle mass back on, I feel great. I really do. So it's been amazing. and I'm really grateful to you guys for your support and your love, and just what you did for our family, and we'll never forget it. All that said, the only thing I really have left on my agenda for the farm is the message held for review. Who's oh. Green County said sweet blood. Got to put some sulfur in there and put the fear of damnation into those bloodsuckers. Yeah, so Bliss says, I'm confused. You had a heart procedure last year, I recall. I did. So they went to repair my, they went to repair it last year, my mitral valve, and they went in through the lungs. I actually didn't have to be open, so they were able to do it thoracoscopically. And it didn't take. What ended up happening was several of my tendons, I guess, had popped loose, and my heart it's called hypertrophy, where your heart gets bigger and enlarged. Also known as heart failure, because your heart is trying to compensate. And so my heart was coming back down to a normal size because they repaired the valve. And then instead of the valves closing, it started to open more. And then it was the jet from that small opening was shredding my hemoglobin. So Bliss just had open heart surgery. Oh, me, yeah. So because that repair was leaking, it was shredding my hemoglobin, which was giving me that wonderful jaundice look. And so I've had that going on since like January of last year. So September, I had the first surgery. We thought it was fixed until about December. We realized something was wrong. Not to get too graphic, but my urine started to have the remnants of red blood cells in it. So I noticed the color change and started calling doctors. And we went through all the testing and all the TEE and the echoes and the blood work, and they discovered that their repair was leaking, and they can't go back in the way they went last time. Apparently that's a one-shot deal. So the only other option was open heart surgery, and that's what we just had. So otherwise, I'm a very healthy middle-aged man. I don't have any other medical conditions. I'm not on medication for anything. And due to especially being in the fire department, I've done my best to try and be the healthiest kind of human I can be, because people pay me to be ready and pay me to be healthy. So, but of course, if you have a structural defect in a valve, you can't help that. And it does what it does. And so here we are by the grace of God. Round 2 is in the bag, and we'll see how this one holds. Hopefully we don't buy a third one. Jeremy asked if I had harvested all the sunflower seeds. Not hardly. I haven't picked one since that video. Yeah, Jeremy says I have some psychosis, but psychologically I'm good. It rained actually like for 18 hours, and it was supposed to rain for like 2 hours the other day, so I just didn't get a chance to get out there. And then our friends were able to come help us band our little bull, so we got that done. So I've got piglets yet still to castrate, and I have some sunflowers still to harvest, and those are kind of my 2 low-key things that I'll be able to do in my current state. I'm allowed to drive the tractor, but I'm not going to until next week, just to kind of make sure that I don't overdo it and torque anything. I'm not going to work on my other tractor until probably September, when my friends are coming to help. I've got some parts to order for it. I need the main seal bearing and the oil seal and a couple other things, but it's not a big deal once my friends are able to help. Actually, the guy that's coming to help me retired from the city I work for, and they did all the diesel work on our fire trucks. So he's an extremely skilled feller and probably will make short work of what would take me quite a long time. So Jeremy asked if I have any idea how much seed yield I will have. I don't. A lot of the heads were smaller. We didn't get a lot of really consistent. It was a very inconsistent field in head size, but that's kind of okay, because it made for a really beautiful field because it was so inconsistent. I counted 9 seed heads on one one stalk, but they were all like, like this big. And then we had one that had, like a really big head on it. So it just is kind of whatever, but I have not yet. I think what I might do, a couple of people have recommended, is just snipping the heads off and chucking them in a barrel and sealing it up. And then I don't know. I know the animals can eat the stalks, but I don't know if I'm going to bother. I might just mow it. So, yeah, Carolyn says count your sunflowers and give account to Green Country Agroforestry, which is James, I believe, right? I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names. I might, but that's a lot of stalks, so I might do like a 10-foot square area and then extrapolate the data. My New Tennessee Homestead says, yeah, I had my aortic valve replaced due to a defect 8 years ago, and then it failed at 4 years, 10 months, and had to be done again. Been almost 3 years now. Jason, I'm sorry. Jason, thank you, my friend. I am really bad with names. I was bad with names before. I didn't have enough blood circulating, so I'm still working on getting better at those. James was another guy. Well, I could machete the stalks. Psalm 144 says machete the stalks after harvesting the seed pods. But I also have like the brush hog, so I might just mow over it. I don't know. I might actually mow it and then yeah. They say not you, someone else. What I might do is just mow it down and then actually till it under and plant them again, because you can plant them, I think, until the end of August. And we might get another harvest out of it, or just make them pretty. I'm actually thinking about backing up the cow fence one post and planting a whole big strip of them, about 25 feet wide, 500 feet long, down the front of the property. They were just so beautiful. And now I have starlings everywhere. The yellow starlings just having a ball in that field, and they have eliminated almost completely our predator pressure on the plants. I haven't seen squash bugs or Japanese beetles or anything else since the sunflower started to bloom. It's really been phenomenal. It's like the best natural pesticide, I guess, you can get. Man, those birds are all over the place. So we're hoping to get some more woods cleared out and maybe do that again closer to our actual kitchen garden over here by the house. It was just so good. Yeah, Roger says if you have your pigs trained on an electric fence, you can let them in there to eat the stalks. We goldfinches, yep. They are electrically trained, and they're currently in where we had the mango beets. So I actually don't have enough pigs to do both. I'm trying to let them chomp up that area and put their manure in it, and then I'm going to attempt to plant some sort of green manure in it, and then next year hopefully we'll have a better soil to plant in. So, but yeah, that's our current plan. Like I said, I'm feeling great, mentally, physically. The sleep is getting better. I would like to sleep all night long. That would be nice, but I'm not really doing anything but healing. So if I, go to bed at 10 or 11 and wake up at 5, I'm not putting my body through anything physically demanding. So it's kind of hard to get tired enough to sleep through some of those things, but that's okay. Prayer requests, if you will, that healing continues. I do have what feels like a little pleural rub on my right side, and I tend to sleep on my right side. So when I lay down and my lungs kind of feel like they're playing xylophone on my ribs a little bit, if you would pray that heals up here quickly, because that's kind of the thing that's keeping me awake. It doesn't hurt, but it's kind of like Faith says, read Alan's book for insomnia. If you see this, Alan, don't hate me, she said. Or don't hit me. Faith, that's awful. Yeah, it's almost like, like if somebody was doing this to your face while you were trying to sleep. It's not that it hurts, right? But it's like you just notice it, so it's kind of hard to sleep through that. So when I get tired enough, obviously I can sleep through it. But I've dumped all the pain meds. I'm taking some Tylenol at night, but otherwise I'm off of all that. They've dumped about a quarter of my meds so far. and probably the rest will be dumped by the end of the 3 months. And when I get released back to full duty, so I won't have to be on blood thinners or beta blockers or blood pressure medicine or antidysrhythmics or any of the stuff I'm on. For those of you that have been through surgery, bowel movements are very important, and mine have become normal again. So not to be oversharing, but anesthesia really affects your digestive tract. So the fact that it's woken up and is doing its job again is just a huge answer to prayer. So the whole thing is an answer to prayer. It really is. Thank you, Bobert. I appreciate that. For Sleepy Time Tea. Thank you, my friend. Oh, look, I sent a heart. Do you see it? Woo, floating. I really appreciate that. That is one of the things I'm doing. I'm typically doing a double of chamomile tea at night, and I'm taking about 3 milligrams of melatonin, and that seems to help really just knock me out. A couple nights I've taken Benadryl because, like I said, this has been itchy, and apparently that is a histamine response and can be fixed with Benadryl, but I don't like taking Benadryl during the day. It makes me really groggy. It makes it hard to wake up. So I've only done that one night so far. But if the night I did it and the melatonin, I was, I zonked out for like 6 hours straight. It was good. And like I said, we're healing. The family is doing very well. Kids came through it well. Mrs. Flannel is catching up on her sleep. She put in a heck of a week that first week. Not that she doesn't all the time, but she was my rock during that time. And just not being alone in the hospital room is almost an indescribable feeling. At one point, she and my mom switched, and there was like an hour in between, and it felt like such a long hour when nobody was there. And not that the hours weren't long anyways, and it's not like we were sitting around and having deep philosophical conversations, but just being able to have somebody in the room with you. And she read a really cool book called Brain Energy that I'm hoping to be able to read. It has to do with mental illness and food. And as you guys know, we're big into trying to eat right and as healthy as possible. Although if Nate Kramer's watching, I do have a sleeve of Oreos in my room. I will make the sacrifice. Link says, dang, God is good. You sound great, Broham. Yeah, I have wind. I have energy. It's great. So yeah, but she's recovering and getting just back to normal. We start school here on the homestead next week. It's our first week back for We Homeschool. And so if you guys actually would also pray, I'm going to give you all my prayer requests, that we have a good week back. It's 2 weeks after surgery, and I'll be able to be some use. But the switch back after the summer is always kind of a trick, to get those things done. Grandma Karen is sending all my best wishes and prayers. Thank you, Grandma Karen. I don't think honey can be abused. Cowboy, look, the hair's still here. We weren't sure if it was going to fall out, but it didn't. It's all still, well, most of it. At one point while I was there, I was sitting there and I did this and came back and there was 50 or so hairs between my fingers, and I was like, oh, I guess this has been stressful. So yeah, we start school next week. I feel like I was saying something else. Oh, the Brain Energy book. So I haven't read the Brain Energy book yet, but she has, and this guy makes a pretty good case for serious mental illness and food, including schizophrenia, bipolar. A lot of the ones that people take medication for can be fixed with the proper foods. So I haven't read it yet, but I'm hoping to bring you guys a bit of that information once I've had a chance to read it and digest it. It's really eye-opening when you know the mental health crisis that our country is going through. And of course, we of faith know that all of these issues can be solved in Christ and Christ alone. But God and Christ, they have given us the good things of this world to eat. And if we are careful with what we put into our bodies, what's better for us. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you guys It has been about 45 minutes. I don't think we're going to hit the hour mark tonight, but I really wanted to spend a few minutes. I was going to do it last weekend. I actually felt good enough last weekend to talk to you, but my wife, bless her, said that, oh, there's Caramel. Look at that. My kitty. She said I shouldn't do a live stream while I was on Oxy. So I know some of you probably would have really appreciated it, but she's a wise woman. So I didn't do it last week, but I hope to get back into the swing of things and start filming and get those things up and rolling again. But really, we're just reveling in the fact that God has been so good to us and allowed the surgery to go well and the recovery to go well. And just, man, it's been wonderful. So I thank you very much. I hope the God of peace gives you peace, and may he bless you and keep you this week. Keep growing as you grow, and we'll see you. Bye.